Just about 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. I want to say very little so that I can let Angie Boynton say as much as she has to say. Angie Boynton is here in the studio, and of course, as you know, she is a member of the Marion County School Board, and I believe she's closing in on her end of her first term, which is 4 years long. Just real quickly, from my experience with Angie over the years, she's one of the few I've met who really clearly was trying really hard to make a difference in our community, and finally she got that chance when she was elected to the school board, and I was cheering her on when I found out about that win. Good morning, Angie. How are you?
Good morning, and thank you.
So now you have to run for office again.
I have to run again, and I'm really excited that it gives me an opportunity, I think, to go out and meet new people, and I've been busy doing that, knocking on doors, going to businesses, and meeting some great people out there.
What is the feedback you're getting from people? You've made contributions over the past 4 years. Wasn't there an important amendment that you were responsible for?
Yes, and it was the naming rights for our schools, and it was the policy change actually gave us an opportunity to enhance our revenues. Rather than raising taxes. I was very excited about it, and I had put the threshold up to like $2 million. And it wasn't about the actual school, but we have facilities on our school. And I think that some of the board members might have not understood. So through our consensus, it was lowered to $100,000, which is great because we actually get an opportunity that if someone makes a huge contribution in education, because we do have some guidelines to it, then that they can put their name on that building, and it would give us something to remember.
One of the things that was in the news recently was about the bringing back of the art and music teachers.
Right.
Are we starting to see, or we were going downhill for a while, are we starting to fix the things that went wrong in years past?
Actually, we had a little surplus in our fund balance and our reserve, rather, and that little could have given us at least 15 teachers back in arts and music. But because of the timeline of which the budget is presented, the budget isn't adopted until September the 9th. And so I said, well, I do support arts and music 100%, but as well as PE and the media. Those are critical teachers that we need back. So I went out to get feedback after we made the vote, after I added my vote to Mr. Crawford. And some of the feedback, and there were some really, really good questions, and they made me think. And so we're all thinking about what those questions were. So as if you aren't passing the budget to September the 9th, when will those teachers start? Who will have first priority at what school?
Right.
All of those things. So we're looking at all of that right now.
But it will happen. You just don't know.
I can't say
you don't know for
happen
sure.
Because I don't know for sure.
Okay.
It takes a vote of 3 of us for it to pass.
One of the big issues last year was the cyberbullying and and the new school guides that come out. I guess they're already published because I saw the PDF online. Mm-hmm. What are the changes there?
The changes are there's a little stiffer punishment for it, Plus, a part of the cyberbullying, we have some I would call program development where we can actually make sure that the student understands why cyberbullying is not the way. The legislators are very strict on that because of the incidents, not just in the county, but around the state.
Yeah. That 12-year-old girl who committed suicide last year.
Right.
Now the new rules, the state rules, and I guess every school has to be familiar with this. Do you need headphones or something? No, okay. The new rules say that cyberbullying will be a crime even if it's off school property and during off hours.
Well, you realize that a lot of the cyberbullying, the incidents actually start off campus and they just filter over into school. And once that happens, and cyberbullying is just, most people don't know, is working on Facebook or with the computer sending messages. Cyberbullying is, I would say, is more detrimental because, when you bully someone, just you and you, just personal, just a small group, it may not filter around to everybody. But cyberbullying filters to it goes international.
Yeah.
And most people aren't aware, when
Yeah,
you
right,
put something on the internet, that's international. And the feelings that the person who's been bullied he has to deal with a lot more because they read comments from other people. And that's, for a young child, that's really detrimental, especially if they don't have anyone to talk to.
Yeah, and I hope that we never see another suicide at all from any of that stuff.
I went out to Howard Middle School, and they had a cyberbullying program, and it was wonderful. And it was the cafeteria was full of students, and some parents actually came in to look at the program and understand more what it was saying for their children to do and how to handle situations. The feedback was excellent from the students. It was excellent. They didn't just touch on personal bullying. They touched on other areas of predator bullying on the internet, and gave them tools on how to handle those situations. Yeah.
Well, when you first were running 4 years ago, you didn't have the experience that you've had during the last 4 years.
No.
So I guess a couple of questions that would make you able to answer now. I mean, now that you're redoing it, you're going back into it, you have a better understanding of what the job entails.
Right.
So what kind of challenges do you see for the school board in general over the next 4 years?
I would say the first thing we're always going to think is the budget. Until we get back to I think with 2007, 2008 funding level, the budget, we're always going to have some problems of meeting the actual needs of the district. If we actually put back in the PE and the media, our fund balance would go below the 3% that's required by the state. And then, the legislators would come in, the DOE would come in to run our district. I think that's one of the challenges that we would have, the most critical one. The second that we did not meet class size last term.
Right.
And we're doing everything possible to make sure that we meet it this time. I think that's so critical for us to do that, because as you look at our school grades and you get the feedback from the teachers and of their needs, and some of them were really wanting to have the paraprofessionals back in their classrooms, and I know our superintendent worked really hard to present that to us in the budgets that those needs would be met.
When you are making decisions on the school board, and teacher issues are part of what you're trying to determine. You deal with a lot of student issues, but when it's teacher issues, do you negotiate with? I don't mean just you personally, but I mean the board in general. Do you negotiate with the unions, or is that something done separately?
Well, what generally happens when we have a teacher issue is usually a hearing. So we do have a dual. Well, I think a role that is a judicial role, where there maybe is a hearing and the teacher may be represented by a union lawyer, and we actually have to just get the information and make the right decision based on the information we get.
Are you and Bobby James the only two that are up for re-election?
Oh no, Mr. Crawford is up for re-election.
Oh, that's right. That's
yes,
right. I'm sorry. That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
yes.
So is this the one that is determined in the primary?
This is determined in the primary unless Mr. Crawford has just one opponent.
Right.
So
Right.
maybe that election will be decided. Mr. James and I I think Mr. James has 3 or 4 opponents. I know I have 3 opponents.
Well, you and he both have 3 on the
Okay.
ballot, and then
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a write-in or not.
I think there was a young man who did drop out. Yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay. So this is an important. One of the things we were talking about this morning is that the expectations are that 20% of the voters will show up at the primary, which is probably optimistic.
Very,
Because I
yes.
remember primaries with 8%.
Yes, yes. And I'm hoping that we have that turnout in my favor, of course. And that's why I'm busy, knocking on doors, talking to people, making sure that they're aware. And on my campaign literature, I make sure that they know the voting days,
Yeah, and you've done a really good job with that. If I could just recommend that folks read what you've written. I mentioned this off there. I guess it's okay to mention it
It's
on
okay.
there. You're polite. And when you watch the school board meetings, the big talkers like to talk, and you are polite and you let them talk. And it's easier to understand your position by reading because you're a good writer.
Thank you. Thank
So
you.
go to Angie's website and make a decision based on what she has written.
www.angieboynton.com. I think that on the board, I like to listen to what our other board members have to say.
Yeah.
And sometimes when they talk and they want to express themselves, it's easier to be a listener than to be someone who interrupts what they're saying. I want them to be able to feel like, you can get your message across.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something that I really don't agree with, I do wait, and then I wait till my turn and tell them, no, I don't agree with you, and this is why.
Right.
I think that's the way we should be, and it's not just about being civil, it's just me. It's just how I was raised to be, very courteous and polite.
Angie, it's always good to see you. You're always part of the school, what do you call it, the media festival, where the kids do their videos. That's always fun.
We see each other all the time.
Yeah.
It's such a wonderful event.
So I'm real happy for you. Good luck on everything you're doing. The FCC has these strict rules that we have to limit these things to 10 minutes. But thank you for coming in here. And real quickly, what's your website again?
www.angieboynton.com.
Okay.
And please remember to vote for me, Angie Boynton. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. We'll take a little break, and we'll be right back.
News Talk 1370 WOCA invites you to discover your full business potential. News Talk Radio is the perfect environment for your advertising. WOCA's News Talk format pinpoints information-hungry, better educated, high-income adults. So use us to talk to them. Call 732-8000. 732-8000. We're Ocala News Talk Radio. News Talk 1370 WOCA.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from